chapter 4, and I just enjoy everything he shares. Now, the next couple pages got a 2-page spread on the big picture, the Sheva mitzvot of the B'nai Noach, or otherwise known as the Noahide Code. Now, this article, folks, I had 7 folks that I have known on social media and met some of them, and I asked each one of them to do one of the 7 mitzvot and talk about it in about 150 words or so. And I tried to find people that would fit, could come up with something in their life. And it's just amazing how our life experiences actually begin to come to fruition when we're able to help others in a certain area. And I find that these folks that have shared here in this section know what they're talking about. They know exactly what they're talking about. And so as we move on, the 7 Noahide laws, they work in real life. I show where these folks are from in North America. So there's a globe or the continent itself with the pins in there where these people are from. And first we have Not to Worship Idols by James Lurica from Pennsylvania. James is call himself a radical Torah supremacist. He's a person who's actually gone so far as to learn fluently Hebrew, and so he was the right person to share about not to worship idols. And below, down in Vermont, we have Jessica, not to curse God or blasphemy. Jessica is a wonderful lady, a mother in Vermont, who you'll find her on social media quite often being a top fan with Tovia Singer. She just likes to get involved and share the Torah and learn from the Torah, and she shares a wonderful little article there. As we go on, I've got my friend Jennifer down in North Carolina establishing the courts of justice, and Jennifer really wanted people to notice in the end, in those days, there was no king in Israel, and every man did that which was right in their own eyes. So you really need to look at that little blurb, folks, because Jennifer tells it like it is, that the call to establish courts of justice and be a part of that is something that we all need to be cognizant of and support our politicians. I know it's difficult to do with lots of parties and people with crazy ideas, but we need to rally for courts and for laws that actually support the Sheva mitzvot, that support the 7 laws in the Noahide Code, so that people the morality can flourish, and Hashem will have his way here on planet Earth. Now, as we move on, my friend Richard down in California, Richard Helton down in California, he shares on not to commit murder, and I find Richard a wonderful gentleman. He shares some classes on Thursday nights if anybody's interested. Look him up on social media. He's always got a lot to share, and he studies, and he digs, and gets all the sources. And below that, we've got my friend Angela from the lower mainland, Langley, BC. She's right near Vancouver, Canada, folks. No sexual immorality. What a wonderful person. She just celebrated her 30th wedding anniversary, so shout out to you, Angela. Her real name is Angelica, but her handle online is Angela. Angela, appreciate everything you do, and thank you so much. And as we go on in the 7 Noahide laws, not to steal or no theft is everybody's good friend, Veronica Port from Washington, Tacoma, Washington. Veronica is just a sweetheart of a lady. She helps out with many Noahide groups and many Noahide pages, and does a newsletter for Rabbi Shlomo and a bunch of other involvement. One God, 7 laws, and she's involved in so much more. She actually did a broadcast with me to tell her story of her trip to Noahide on our PNN page, that's Pacific Northwest Noahide, if anybody's interested. But she's just a wonderful lady to share on not to steal, no theft. And so I just thankful, Veronica, for all that you do. Now, the 7th one was so difficult, and I actually had a couple people pull out, but I was able to find a friend down in Arizona, Patrick Peace down in Arizona. And, you know, Hashem knows what he's doing, because this gentleman is the perfect person to deal with the 7th, not to eat the flesh of a living animal. Now, that sounds like something that just nobody does today. Okay. And it sounds odd and it sounds strange, but it does go on and people don't realize that it does. Now, Patrick is a beekeeper. He's a farmer down in Arizona. And often, if you read his article, often they have to go higher and higher and higher into the mountain areas so that the bees can get access to the pollen and the flowers in the cooler because it gets so hot down in Arizona. But Patrick's story is unique in that he is friends with many other cattle farmers in the area, and they have a lot of barbecues and they have a lot of get-togethers, and he's invited quite often for what they call well, I lived in the prairies in Canada. They called them prairie oysters there. I'm not going to tell you. You got to read it for yourself, folks, but I'm telling you, no, that he was the perfect person for this job, for this a specific mitzvot, sharing not to eat the flesh of a living animal. As we move on, folks, on to page 19, when confronted by negativity, I find that this gentleman, Terry Hayes, just a wonderful gentleman from Chattanooga, Tennessee, one of the soundest Noahites that I know down there in the United